This video was sponsored by ZenMarket. Want to buy from Japanese online stores and ship to your country? ZenMarket is the best Japan proxy shopping service for you that's trusted by over 2 million members. Discover online shopping in Japan and directly shop on Mercari, Amazon Japan, Rakuten, and Rakuma, or even live bid on Yahoo. I've been able to find a variety of different Ichiban Kuji figures for my growing Dragon Ball collection for some of the cheapest prices I've ever seen. ZenMarket supports 19 different languages and has excellent customer service. Whenever you buy from ZenMarket, you can buy in faith knowing that their items are well packaged with no consolidation fees. You also have plenty of different shipping options from surface level shipping, UPS, FedEx, and others. ZenMarket offers multiple payment options like PayPal as well to create as inviting of a shopping experience as possible. I found this e-moving Super Saiyan Goku for only $36. I also found this King Cluster Broly for only $39. I even found one of the latest complete Ichiban Kuji sets, Temple Above the Clouds, for only $263. With ZenMarket, you can buy almost anything from any Japanese online store as long as it's eligible for international shipping. So please make sure you check out ZenMarket today with my sign-up code MatchesPeaches while creating an account to get 1,000 Zen points. Happy collecting to all of those out there, and thank you to ZenMarket for sponsoring this video. What's up guys, Matt back again, and this is the Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball Super the 20th film, and in today's video we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the entire set. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. Kicking things off with Prize A, we have Super Saiyan Broly Full Power. This figure is particularly exciting because it marks the introduction of Broly within the King Cluster series of figures. As many of you know, Broly has become a fan favorite character over the years, and it's fantastic to see him represented in this high quality line, especially after the train wreck release of the King Cluster Gokus from History of Son Goku. The figure seems mostly inspired by Shintani's character illustrations for the movie, with a few creative liberties taken, like lifting his arm to emulate him firing a key attack. Now, let's talk about the likeness. Bandai has done a remarkable job capturing Broly's essence. The facial expression is strikingly sinister, which perfectly reflects his character's intensity and power. The detail and the line work on his face really brings out his fierce personality, making it a standout feature of the figure. However, I did notice one minor issue. The size of his head appears somewhat disproportionate to his massive body. It's a small detail, but for collectors who pay attention to proportions, it might be a point of concern. Moving on to the sculpting, the level of detail is impressive. The textures are beautifully rendered, particularly on his Ba's ear sash, hair, and muscular physique. You can see the effort put into capturing the unique elements of his design, from the layered look of his hair to the intricacies of his muscles. The way the light hits the figure highlights these details, making it a visually stunning piece. Next, let's discuss the paint and shading. This is where the figure really shines. Broly's hair features lighter, paler greens that contrast beautifully with his darker attire. The shading in his muscles and hair is expertly done, providing depth and dimension that enhances the overall aesthetic. It's clear that a lot of thought went into the color choices, and it pays off in making the figure pop on the shelf. In terms of size, the Super Saiyan Broly full power figure is quite large, standing out nicely among other figures in the collection. He scales perfectly with other Broly figures and fits seamlessly within the Masterlies line. This makes him a great choice for those looking to showcase their collection, as he commands attention without overshadowing the other figures. Now, while I think this figure is fantastic, I have to admit he's not my personal favorite Broly figure. For me, that title still goes to the Omnibus Z version, which I feel captures a different essence of Broly that resonates more with my collection. However, I understand that preferences vary, and for many fans, this Super Saiyan Broly could very well be your top pick. To summarize, Broly is a fantastic addition to the Ichiban Kuji line. He offers a lot for collectors, from the detailed sculpt and impressive likeness to the vibrant paint job. While there are a couple of minor quirks, such as his head size, they don't detract significantly from the overall appeal of the figure. If you're a Broly fan or just a collector looking to add something special to your lineup, this figure is definitely worth considering. Up next, we have Prize B, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Gogeta, popularly known as Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. This figure is especially noteworthy as it marks the very first Masterlies representation of Gogeta released in the Ichiban Kuji line. For those who may not be familiar, Gogeta is the powerful fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and he made waves in the Dragon Ball community with his canonical appearance in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. The anticipation for this figure has been palpable, given Gogeta's immense popularity and significance in the franchise. But now let's dive into the details of this figure. Gogeta is depicted in a striking fighting pose, ready to take on Broly in an epic showdown. This dynamic stance not only captures the essence of the character, but also reflects the high energy battles that fans have come to love. However, upon closer inspection, I have to say that the likeness is somewhat lacking. While the pose is action-packed, the facial features don't fully align with what fans expect from Gogeta. The line work around his eyes is overly bold and not painted in thoroughly, which takes away from the overall aesthetic. It's a minor detail, but for collectors and fans, those little nuances can make a big difference. Now let's talk about the sculpt itself. The detailing in the muscles, clothing, and hair is truly impressive. You can see the definition in his biceps, the folds in his clothing, and the flow of his hair. The sculptor has clearly put a lot of effort into making this figure look powerful and dynamic, which is essential for a character like Gogeta. The attention to how the muscles are contoured really enhances the sense of movement, making it feel as he's captured in mid-action. However, one aspect that might leave collectors feeling a bit disappointed is the foot support. Instead of a clear base that would allow for a more elegant display, Gogeta comes with a gray, bulky support that feels quite unattractive. This choice may not only clash with the overall design, but could also be a point of contention for some collectors who value aesthetics in their display. When it comes to paint and shading, I found this aspect to be quite solid. The blues in Gogeta's hair are vibrant and striking, making him stand out on the shelf. The shading throughout his body, skin tone, and clothing adds depth and realism, enhancing the overall visual appeal. It's clear that a lot of thought went into the color choices, and the execution is commendable. However, I do have a personal critique regarding the glossy finish on the bezels of the jacket. They come off as somewhat cheap and sloppily applied, which feels out of place for a figure that aims to represent such an iconic character. A matte finish might have provided a more premium look. In terms of size and scale, Gogeta fits seamlessly alongside other Master Release figures. He doesn't feel out of place, which is a definite plus for those who are curating a collection. Overall, while the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta figure has its strengths, I find that it doesn't fully capture the remarkable essence of the character. It's a decent figure with notable sculpting and paintwork, but it ultimately feels a bit forgettable. When you consider the vast array of iconic Gogeta figures out there, including the stunning Omnibus Z version, this one pales in comparison. The Omnibus Z figure, for instance, offers a much more striking representation that many fans would prefer. If it were up to me, I would highly recommend the Omnibus Z over this one any day. Up next, we have Prize C, Super Saiyan Gogeta. Now, this figure is interesting because it's essentially a recolor of the blue Gogeta from the same set, but this time, we see him in his iconic Super Saiyan form. At first glance, you might think, hey, it's Super Saiyan Gogeta, this is awesome. And while that excitement is understandable, the reality is that the differences between these two figures are remarkably minimal. The only significant change is, of course, the color of his hair. Let's break this down further. The pose, the sculpt, and even the overall design are nearly identical to the blue Gogeta figure. This could be a double-edged sword for collectors. On one hand, having multiple forms of Gogeta can be appealing, especially for those who want to showcase the character's various transformations. However, many fans might argue that there are already superior options out there for Super Saiyan Gogeta, such as the one featured in the Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus set. When you stack this figure up against those, it starts to feel like a missed opportunity. Overall, while Super Saiyan Gogeta isn't a bad figure per se, it doesn't elevate the collection in any significant way. It's not horrible, but it's certainly not memorable either. For collectors who are seeking to capture the full spectrum of Gogeta's transformations, this figure might be a nice addition, but if you're looking for something that truly encapsulates the character's essence, I'd recommend looking elsewhere, such as the aforementioned Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus figure, which offers a much more compelling portrayal. In conclusion, if you're a die-hard fan of Gogeta, you might enjoy having this figure in your collection, but for those who value uniqueness and impact, it might be best to pass on this one. Now, let's dive into one of the standout pieces from this set. Prize D, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Son Goku. This figure holds a very special place in my heart, as it was my very first Master Release figure. It's hard to believe that this was long before I even knew what Master Release or Ichiban Kuji meant, and before I kicked off this YouTube channel dedicated to our amazing hobby. So let's take a deep dive into this figure and explore all the details together. First off, let's talk about Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or SSGSS, in the Broly movie. That transformation sequence was nothing short of breathtaking. The way Goku transitioned into this form was dramatic and visually stunning, and it really revitalized the interest in SSGSS among fans. For many, including myself, that scene was a high point in the film. Goku's look during this transformation is also iconic, especially when he's shown wearing his blue shirt, complete with the battle damage. This aesthetic captures the essence of a warrior who's been through intense battles, and it's one that fans have come to adore. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty details of this Master Release figure. Goku is posed dynamically, striking a powerful stance that suggests he's ready to leap back into action against Broly. This pose is so well executed, it encapsulates his fighting spirit and the high-energy battles we all love from the series. However, upon closer inspection, I did notice a small issue with his likeness. The lines under Goku's eyes curve downward at the outer edges, which gives him a slightly off appearance. It's a nuanced detail for sure, but for collectors and fans, those little elements can make a significant difference. Personally, I prefer when the line work under the eyes is more horizontal and straightened. It just feels more natural and true to the character. Moving on to the sculpt quality, I have to say it's absolutely superb. The detailing is impressive, particularly in his gi, which showcases the battle damage and wear from his intense fight. You can really see the craftsmanship that went into this figure. The texturing in his hair is beautifully rendered, capturing that flowing motion that Goku is known for. The muscle definition is pronounced, which is essential for representing Goku's powerful physique accurately. However, there's one aspect that I do find a bit disappointing, and it's the foot support. Instead of a clear base that would blend seamlessly with the figure, Goku has a solid gray support. This choice clashes with the overall aesthetic, and while it may not be a deal breaker, it certainly detracts from the character's overall visual appeal. As collectors, we often look for pieces that can be displayed elegantly, and the foot support here feels a bit bulky and out of place. Plus, it's that ugly gray color. Now, let's talk about paint and shading, because this aspect is where the figure truly excels. The deep color of his hair is vibrant and striking, really making him stand out on the shelf. The shading is applied thoughtfully from the top of his hair down to his clothing, which adds depth and dimension to the figure. The color choices are spot on, and the execution is commendable. You can see the gradients that enhance the overall visual appeal, which is especially important for a character like Goku, who's beloved. In terms of scale, Goku fits perfectly alongside other Masterlies figures and Goku figures in general. He doesn't feel out of place at all, which is a huge plus for collectors who are curating a cohesive display. Whether you're a fan of the Masterlies line or someone who has a mix of figures, Goku scales beautifully, and he can hold his own against other iconic characters. My overall thoughts on the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku are quite positive. Despite the minor issues with the eye line work and the foot support, the sculpt quality and paint application are fantastic. This figure is a great representation of Goku in his blue form and will definitely appeal to fans, especially those who appreciate his look from the Broly movie. It captures the spirit of Goku and the essence of the character's strength and determination. Up next, we have Prize E, Super Saiyan Goku. This figure is particularly interesting as it serves as a recolor of the previous released Prize D, which features blue Goku, but with a twist. This time, Goku sports his iconic Super Saiyan hair instead of the blue. This approach is exactly how Bandai handled the release of the 2 Gogeta figures in this set, which I mentioned earlier. Let's take a closer look at the figure itself. Goku's posed in a classic battle-ready stance, radiating that familiar aura of determination and strength that fans adore. It's a great representation of his character, even though he doesn't actually sport this look in the film itself. Nevertheless, this Goku can easily find a home on any Frieza or maybe a movie-related shelf, making him a versatile addition to your collection. Now, while it may be easy to dismiss this figure as a simple recolor, I have to say that I genuinely adore how it turned out. The design is nearly flawless, and the vibrant yellow hair pops beautifully against the rest of the figure. The attention to detail is commendable, with well-defined muscles and crisp lines that capture Goku's essence. However, I can't overlook the fact that this figure does come off as a bit lazy. Given that it's essentially a color swap, some collectors might feel that it lacks the originality and creativity that we often look for in figures. That said, the execution is strong enough to elevate it beyond mere mediocrity. The paint application is smooth, and the shading around his muscles adds depth, enhancing the overall visual appeal. Overall, while the Super Saiyan Goku figure might not break any new ground in terms of design, it's still a fantastic piece for fans of the series. Yes, it may be a recolor, but its quality and presence on display make it worthwhile. If you're a die-hard Goku fan or someone who enjoys collecting various iterations of the character, this figure is definitely worth adding to your lineup. Up next, we have the Last One prize, Super Saiyan Full Power Broly in a special color version. This figure is particularly intriguing as it showcases yet another recolor in this set. Instead of introducing a new form for Broly, Bandai has opted for a striking metallic and glossy finish on the lower body, which gives it a unique look. However, this design choice has been met with mixed feelings from the community. Broly is depicted in the same powerful stance as Prize A, embodying the fierce energy we've come to expect from this legendary Saiyan. The metallic finish does give him a distinctive flair, setting him apart from other figures in the lineup. However, I have to express my disappointment that this is yet another recolor rather than a fresh sculpt or a new version of Broly. While the glossy effect is visually appealing, it feels like a repetitive approach, especially since Bandai has repeated this concept multiple times in the Ultimate Variation and Back to the Film releases. The reliance on metallic coloring to differentiate this figure from its predecessors feels somewhat lazy. For collectors, it raises the question of whether this figure truly adds value to their collection or if it merely serves as another variant to fill up the shelf. Overall, while this Last One prize has its merits, particularly in sculpting and initial visual impact, it ultimately feels like a missed opportunity. For die-hard Broly fans, it might be worth picking up, but for collectors looking for something more innovative, I would recommend sticking with Prize A or exploring other Broly figures that offer a more satisfying representation. So those are my thoughts on Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball Super, the 20th film. I gotta say, this set is a bit forgettable. Really, with so many Broly figures out there and Gogeta figures, most of this set just feels so forgettable. The Goku figures are standouts though, so I highly recommend picking those two up. But those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you made it this far in the video, then please leave a like. And of course, if you're not subscribed yet, then please subscribe to the channel and join this community. If you want to go even further beyond in supporting the channel, then consider becoming a YouTube member. It only starts at $3. That gives you permanent access to our Discord community full of awesome Dragon Ball enthusiasts and collectors just like you. And if you want to take part in our regular monthly giveaway, then you can become a $10, $15, or $20 member and take part in winning Crane figures, Ichiban Kuji figures, or an entire Ichiban Kuji set. So thank you once again, ZenMarket, for sponsoring today's video. Guys, go check them out. But until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.